Painting and decorating is one of our most essential trades. It fills a basic need with very little chance of ever diminishing in importance. The constant demand for paint and varnish as a protection and decoration ensures that there will always be a need for this service.
This image, it's a painting made by a man named Rene Magritte, and it's been on my mind for a long time. It's the story of what happens when art and philosophy come together to produce something incredible, and that incredible thing then self-implodes. What is so fascinating about this image to me is that it speaks in a language we can understand, that is to say, language itself. Ceci ne c'est une pipe. This is not a pipe. The canvas actually has words on it. But I think to understand the art, we must understand the man first. But notice how I didn't say the artist. Rene really isn't an artist. I find him much more in line with thinkers like Baudrillard and Foucault than Picasso and Rembrandt, a philosopher who used images to convey ideas, visual thought experiments. Rene was born here. He joined the army, the Belgian infantry. That one didn't go too well, so he became an artist, and after many failed exhibits, he moved to the streets of Paris, downtrodden, not a dime to his name. But Magritte had been reading a lot. He started to verse himself in philosophy, from Baudrillard to Foucault, and used these works and his art to investigate ideas. Every painting of Magritte's you look at confuses you, makes you feel like something's not quite right. The image always is just barely obscuring the meaning, almost as if it isn't the image obscuring the meaning, but the obstruction is in the mind itself. They are, in a word, surreal. But let's go back to the painting. It shows an image of a pipe, and then written under it in French, it reminds us that this is not actually a pipe. It's a picture of a pipe. Magritte is just telling us that representations are not the real things. But of course, no one would ever look at this and tell you that it is a real pipe. But something interesting happens here, because when I show you this image, you tell me it's a woman, or this image. It's a dog. This is a boat. This is a Mr. Eames, and this is a pipe. For a long time, people just went with this, assuming that the names of things and those things are in fact equal. But one of these thinkers that Rene was so well versed in, a man named Ferdinand de Saussure, thought otherwise and pointed out that names have no inherent origin. What we call an object has no real relationship. Sign and the signified have no connection besides our desire for them to be connected. Saussure points out that we can only engage with reality on this level. We can only engage with the cardboard cutouts of the real that we call language. Magritte realized this asinine way of thought had found its way into the art realm. He was living through a time of hyper-realistic paintings, paintings whose entire purpose was to signal and represent an object, which depended on the ideas that images can work outside of art and represent the object itself. Magritte loves to point out that the falseness of this claim using those failures of language. Those failures become all so obvious in the treachery of images. But let's take it one step further. This is not a pipe, it's a painting of a pipe. Just paint on canvas. But this also isn't the original, so it's a poster of a painting of a pipe. And of course, through this screen, it's just a collection of pixels. Even one step further, why do the words refer to the image? Why is the pipe? How do we know that's what Rene meant? Well, we don't, but yet we still will connect the this with the image. This is not a pipe, but neither is this. And if this is not a pipe, then the whole idea starts to collapse and the thought spiral begins. And one starts to ask, is it possible to lose contact with reality? To float away from the material world towards something else? What happens when real bodies can be replaced by holograms? When real food can be replaced with perfect synthetics? When real pleasure is replaced by pleasure perfectly calibrated to you? What happens on the other side of truth? Not what is false, but what is more true than the truth. What if we haven't noticed this strange new world has already arrived? Does not Magritte already show that language is a sort of virtual reality? And soon you realize we have already lost contact with the real.